Hey everyone, and welcome back to Healthy by Nature. And if you're new here, this channel is all about discovering how nature provides everything we need to thrive. Today we're diving into one of nature's most powerful and freely available medicines, sunlight. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't the sun dangerous? Don't we need to avoid it? Well, that's exactly the misconception we're going to tackle today. The truth is, humans have evolved alongside the sun for millions of years, and our bodies are literally designed to harness its incredible power. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to explore how sunlight affects everything from your sleep and mood to your immune system and bone health. We'll talk about the science behind vitamin D production, the fascinating world of circadian rhythms, and I'll share some practical tips on how to safely incorporate more sunlight into your daily routine. So grab a cup of coffee, maybe even step outside if the sun is shining, and let's discover together why sunlight truly is one of nature's greatest gifts to our health. Let's start with probably the most well-known benefit of sunlight, vitamin D production. But here's what's fascinating. Vitamin D isn't actually a vitamin at all. It's a hormone, and it's one of the most important hormones your body produces. When UVB rays from the sun hit your skin, they interact with a cholesterol compound called 7-dehydrocholesterol. This kicks off an amazing chemical transformation that eventually produces calcitriol, the active form of vitamin D that your body can use. Now, here's why this matters so much for your health. Vitamin D receptors are found in virtually every cell in your body. That means this sun-derived hormone influences everything from your immune system to your cardiovascular health, from your bone density to your brain function. Recent research has shown that adequate vitamin D levels can reduce your risk of respiratory infections by up to 42%. It supports healthy bone formation, helps regulate blood pressure, and may even play a role in preventing certain types of cancer. But here's the kicker. Despite living in an age where we understand the importance of vitamin D, deficiency rates are skyrocketing. Some studies suggest that over 40% of adults in the United States are vitamin D deficient. Why? Because we're spending less time outdoors than any generation in human history. The average American spends 93% of their time indoors. Think about that for a moment. Our ancestors lived and worked under the open sky, naturally maintaining optimal vitamin D levels. Today we've created a lifestyle that's fundamentally disconnected from one of our most basic biological needs. And vitamin D is just the beginning. The power of sunlight goes far beyond what happens in your skin. Section 2. Circadian rhythms and sleep. Let's talk about something that affects every single one of you watching right now, your sleep. And it turns out the quality of your sleep is intimately connected to your relationship with sunlight. Your body has an internal clock called your circadian rhythm, and this clock is primarily set by light exposure, specifically the natural rise and fall of sunlight throughout the day. When morning sunlight hits your eyes, it signals to your brain's master clock, located in a region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, that it's time to be alert and awake. This morning light exposure triggers a cascade of hormonal changes. It suppresses melatonin production, that's your sleep hormone, and increases cortisol and other alertness-promoting chemicals. But here's the crucial part. This same morning light exposure also sets a timer for melatonin production later in the evening. Approximately 14 to 16 hours after your morning light exposure, your brain will start producing melatonin again, making you naturally drowsy. It's like nature's perfect alarm clock and sleep timer, all built into one system. But what happens when we disrupt this natural rhythm? When we wake up in artificially lit homes, spend our days under fluorescent lights, and then expose ourselves to blue light from screens late into the evening, we essentially hijack our circadian rhythm. Our bodies become confused about when it's day and when it's night. The result? Poor sleep quality, difficulty falling asleep, frequent night wakings, and that groggy feeling in the morning that no amount of coffee seems to fix. Research from Stanford University shows that people who get bright morning sunlight fall asleep 37 minutes faster and experience deeper, more restorative sleep. Another study found that office workers with windows who were exposed to more natural light during the day slept an average of 46 minutes longer per night than those in windowless offices. So here's a simple but powerful tip. Try to get at least 10-15 minutes of direct sunlight in your eyes within the first hour of waking up. No sunglasses, no windows between you and the sun. Just natural, unfiltered morning light. This simple practice can dramatically improve your sleep quality and daytime energy levels. And if you're dealing with seasonal depression or low mood during the darker months, this becomes even more critical. Section 3. Mental health and mood. The connection between sunlight and mental health is profound and scientifically well established. Let's explore why stepping into the sunshine can literally brighten your mood. When sunlight enters your eyes, it doesn't just affect your circadian rhythm. It also triggers the release of serotonin, often called the happiness hormone. Serotonin is crucial for mood regulation, and low levels are associated with depression, anxiety, and seasonal affective disorder. There's a reason why rates of depression and suicide are higher in countries with less sunlight, and why so many people struggle with mood during the darker winter months. Our brains are literally wired to respond to light. A landmark study published in the Journal of Psychiatric Research found that people living in areas with more annual sunlight had significantly lower rates of depression. Another study showed that just 30 minutes of morning sunlight exposure was as effective as some antidepressant medications for treating mild to moderate depression. But the mental health benefits go beyond just serotonin. Sunlight exposure also affects your stress response system. Regular sun exposure helps regulate cortisol, your primary stress hormone. People who spend more time outdoors tend to have healthier cortisol patterns and better stress resilience. There's also something called attention restoration theory. The idea is that natural environments, including natural light, help restore our ability to focus and concentrate. After spending time in nature and sunlight, people perform better on cognitive tests and report feeling more mentally refreshed. This is why a walk outside during your lunch break isn't just good for your body, it's like hitting a reset button for your brain. You're giving your mind a chance to recover from the constant stimulation and artificial lighting of indoor environments. I've heard from so many viewers who've shared their experiences with this. One viewer wrote to tell me that simply eating breakfast outside on her deck each morning completely changed her relationship with stress and anxiety. Another shared that his winter depression improved dramatically when he started taking short sun breaks during his workday. The science is clear. Your mental health is intimately connected to your light exposure, and in our increasingly indoor lifestyle, we're missing out on this natural mood regulation system. End of so. Now let's talk about something that became particularly relevant in recent years, your immune system. And it turns out sunlight might be one of your immune system's best allies. We already discussed how sunlight helps your body produce vitamin D, but let's dive deeper into how this affects your immune function. Vitamin D acts as an immune system modulator. It helps activate your T cells, the immune cells that fight off infections and abnormal cells. Research has shown that people with adequate vitamin D levels have stronger immune responses to vaccines, lower rates of respiratory infections, and better outcomes when they do get sick. During the recent pandemic, multiple studies found that vitamin D deficiency was associated with more severe illness and worse outcomes. But the immune benefits of sunlight go beyond just vitamin D. UVB radiation actually stimulates the production of antimicrobial peptides in your skin. These are natural antibiotics that help fight off harmful bacteria and viruses right at your body's first line of defense. There's also emerging research on something called photobiomodulation, the idea that certain wavelengths of light can directly influence cellular function. Some studies suggest that specific light wavelengths can enhance wound healing, reduce inflammation, and even stimulate cellular repair processes. And we're just scratching the surface. Sunlight exposure has been linked to cardiovascular health. People who get regular sun exposure tend to have lower blood pressure and reduced risk of heart disease. This might be due to sunlight's ability to release nitric oxide from your skin, which helps dilate blood vessels, bone health beyond vitamin D's role in calcium absorption. Bearing activities in sunlight provide the mechanical stress that bones need to stay strong. Eye health, contrary to popular belief, appropriate amounts of natural light are actually beneficial for eye development and may help prevent myopia in children. Metabolic health. There's emerging evidence that light exposure affects your metabolism and may help regulate blood sugar levels. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not suggesting that sunlight is a cure-all or that you should abandon medical care in favour of sun exposure. What I'm saying is that sunlight is a fundamental biological need that we've largely ignored in our modern lifestyle, and restoring this connection can have profound health benefits. Section 5. Practical guidelines. So how do you harness the power of sunlight safely and effectively? Let me share some practical guidelines that are based on both scientific research and common sense. First, timing matters. The best times for beneficial sun exposure are generally early morning and late afternoon, when the sun's angle is lower. This gives you the benefits of light exposure while minimizing the risk of burning from intense midday UVB rays. For vitamin D production, you need UVB rays which are strongest between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. But you don't need to bake in the midday sun. Even 10-20 minutes of midday exposure, depending on your skin type and location, can provide significant vitamin D production. Your individual needs depend on several factors: your skin type, your geographic location, the season, and your current vitamin D status. People with darker skin need more sun exposure to produce the same amount of vitamin D as those with lighter skin. People living at higher latitudes need more exposure, especially during winter months. A general guideline: aim for about half the amount of time it would take your skin to turn pink. If you know you would burn after 20 minutes, then 10 minutes might be appropriate for vitamin D production. Here are some simple ways to incorporate more sunlight into your routine. Have your morning coffee outside, even if it's just for 10 minutes. This gives you that crucial morning light exposure for your circadian rhythm. Take phone calls while walking outside when possible. Eat lunch outdoors when weather permits. If you exercise, try to do some of your workouts outside. Open your curtains and blinds during the day to let natural light into your living spaces. Consider a walking meeting instead of sitting in a conference room. Of course, we need to be smart about sun exposure. Sunburn is never beneficial and can increase skin cancer risk. Build up your tolerance gradually, especially if you've been spending most of your time indoors. Use protective clothing and shade for extended outdoor activities. And yes, sunscreen has its place for prolonged exposure or when burning is likely. The key is finding that sweet spot where you're getting the benefits of sun exposure without the risks of overexposure. As we wrap up, I want you to think about this. Sunlight has been a constant in human evolution for millions of years. Our entire physiology is designed around this natural rhythm of light and darkness. Yet in just a few generations, we've created a lifestyle that largely excludes this fundamental input. The power of sunlight isn't just about vitamin D or circadian rhythms or any single mechanism. It's about reconnecting with one of our most basic biological needs. It's about recognizing that our health is intimately connected to the natural world around us. So here's my challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, step outside for just 10 minutes. No phone, no distractions, just you and the morning sun. Notice how you feel. Pay attention to your energy levels throughout the day and see how you sleep that night. If this video opened your eyes to the incredible power of sunlight, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from this information. And if you're not already subscribed to Healthy by Nature, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos on natural health and wellness. In our next video, we're going to explore another fascinating aspect of natural health, the incredible healing power of grounding or earthing. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, get outside, get some sun, and remember, nature has everything you need to thrive.